every sheet from any event, be it your Wednesday league game, bonspiel, or corporate event. Curling Stadium offers an all-inclusive streaming solution featuring high-quality cameras, ease of use, great reliability, and minimal installation. Offering your sponsors customizable ad space on your streamed curling games and being able to sell video packages to your corporate events for increased revenue. With Curling Stadium, you can stream to any device, be it your mobile phone, tablet, or computer. Push the feed to your desired platform, be it Facebook, YouTube, or any other social media. Curling Stadium is simply the way forward. Where it's commonplace in other sports to televise every game, we want to do the same. Curling is a global sport, and it's time it gets the coverage it needs. Make your curling club the next Curling Stadium.
Well, what do y'all think? Too blue? Not blue enough? Try this.
Makes your eyes pop.
This could be our best yield yet.
And didn't we get this seed at a great financing rate?
Yeah, we did.
Iced tea?
Great idea.
Let's talk more about next year. I got some thoughts.
And I've got some numbers.
Nutrien Financial, financing that's in the field with you.
SaskTel Be Kind Online wants to stop cyberbullying. Want in on the action? We award up to $1,000 for youth initiatives that help spread kindness and prevent bullying. What great idea do you have to help stop bullying? SaskTel can help. Go to BeKindOnline.com and apply for a grant today. Together, we can make a difference.
Welcome back to Swift Current, play in the third end. Our feature game, Tabitha Peterson taking on Michele Jaeggi. Lots of offense in this one. Jaeggi with a 3 in the first. Tabitha Peterson right back with 2 in the second. Jaeggi with hammer here in end number 3. There's Becca Hamilton. Looks to come around the pile. There's a long center guard and a stone top 8 foot. Great line, but a little bit light. Comes to rest just full 8 foot. No protection from the guards. Mumenthaler. There's that characteristic of her as she releases. Her eyes go down. Most players will keep their eyes upward and looking at the target as they release, but Lisa, as she gets close to release, her eyes go down to watch her own release. Very unusual. Gets the job done though. Tara Peterson lines it up. Bangs it just off nose. Looking for a little inside flop. Didn't really get it. She'll be happy to keep separation between the stones and the rings, that's for sure. Stephanie Bursett. This keeps the nose hit. Those stones are creeping a little bit closer together. Tab thinks, even though they're pretty flat, they're close enough together that you might be able to get a little bit of inside action and punch that yellow at least out behind the guard if you don't move it from the rings. Tab tap her forehead, so those teams have got their own little hand language for what kind of weight to throw. And this one will be plenty, probably peel. And you do get that little bit of inside action, so good line read and good judgment of the angles by Tab Peterson. Just pushing that yellow stone ever so slightly out the side. So it doesn't have complete protection from that center guard anymore. Probably more importantly in the mind of Tab, really bringing those stones closer together. So if you didn't make the double on that shot, if Stephanie doesn't really hide underneath on this one, a better chance for a double kill on the next shot. Well, just feathers it going by. That was a miss. Even worse, chips that red half behind cover. It was exposed. Yellow-red chip on the intern side is easily there, so if you do decide to go around it, you are taking on a bit of risk. But Tab says, well, I'm going to take that risk. This is a chance to get behind a couple of stacked stones on the center line when you don't have hammer. That's a great way to set up a force. Corey Teesey. Well clear of the pile, and this one is going to slide deep. Is it going to slide through? Again, we've seen some bad judgment early in this game on sweep reads and line calls, and another example there, that totally fooled Tara and Becca, who thought it needed it. Maybe they were worried more about line than the weight. Skates right through the ring, so back-to-back misses. Kind of an A-B shot here for Ashley. Plan A, chip the yellow onto the red, push the red out. Plan B, if it over curls, chip the center guard away. Definitely burst it on the inside. You do wind up ripping the center guard. No guards in play. Brings blank end onto the table. Of course, just going to try to 2/3 half pick out this yellow. But she doesn't kill her own red in the process. Gets her red moving. That's a very nice shot. Very nice shot. Good separation and awkward angles down for Michele to try and play a double. Play the double, you're probably going to lose your shooter. Play the inside roll. It's a relatively short straight run for Tab. So very, very nice shot there from Corey Teesey. Hits and rolls away in the second shot position. Tab Peterson thinks we can just nose that, trade shots. I'm going to get a force out of this. Way out to the wing for Tab Peterson. Be a patch of ice they're not that familiar with inside out. Tara now sweeping for Curl. Again, just stepping up the weight and losing the shooter. That's what'll happen when you go out to the wings. You think mentally, I don't really know the ice here. You suspect it's going to be heavy. You up your weight, it tracks, and then all of a sudden, oops. From having full control of the end and getting a force to losing control of the end and probably giving up a blank, letting your opponent reload. Not a great deal you can do about those situations because you do not play stones really at the wings very often in the course of a game. It's real mental discipline to just say, I'm going to go out there in the weeds and just keep the weight down and under control. In your heart, you're thinking, that's going to grab and curl. Didn't happen that time. Maybe nose hits. It'll be interesting if Tab hits back. If she noses, will she actually be on the rings? And that's what they're taking a look at. Be awfully close, and Michele would be pretty brave to ignore it and just throw it through if they do nose it. And the worst feeling in the world in curling if you look at a stone that you think is off the rings and you ignore it, and then somebody comes along and said, I'd like to have the biter measure, please, and all of a sudden it's on the rings. Does not feel very good. Doesn't happen very often, but it does happen. So Tab Peterson just looking to eliminate this one. And we do get the scenario. Well, that one is certainly on the rings, so no doubt for Michele. It does make this shot a lot easier for her. You don't really have the beak of death when you're trying to blank. You beak here and you get away with it. Final stone of end number 3. Michele Jaeggi just looking to blank. Where are we going to get this peak of death? Yep, there you go. Perfect. That's the way you blank an end. Nose hit. So 3 ends in the books, and we head on to end number 4. Michele Jaeggi will carry the hammer into the 4th, leading it 3-2.
I've been farming on my own right for 40 years now, I think. It's a very wholesome enterprise. You have very, very busy periods when you have to go hard. So many of our windows are so tight that you just can't afford to miss a couple days of seeding.
When a producer places their trust in us, that when it's time for them to be able to make their living, we're going to be there. That's a tremendous responsibility that is not a one-day-a-year thing, right? In order to actually deliver on that, you have to build your processes and you have to build your team and you have to have a mindset of operational excellence, because there's a lot of things that can go wrong. And it's our job to make sure that they don't go wrong, or if they do go wrong, that we can fix it before it affects our customer.
So with the impact to my business and income, will this delay my retirement?
I know you're worried, Marshall, but based on the original plan we came up with, you're only about 6 months behind.
I thought it would be years, not months.
You should feel good. Remember, you've got a plan.
Thanks.
With change comes questions. See the impact of your money decisions before you make them with RBC Wealth Plan.
Light up your love for curling with our customizable neon LED lights from Letterlands. Choose your new neon mixed doubles partner or make a statement with a neon curling rock in your window. Also actual Letterlands. Use discount code WHOA for 15% off. Only at Letterlands.com.
Welcome back to Swift Current. It's the Nutrien Ag Solutions Western Showdown. Tabitha Peterson versus Michele Jaeggi. It's the play in the fourth end. Tabitha Peterson with the hammer, trailing by 1. Glad you're with us. Both teams looking for their first win of the weekend. Neither team likely to advance into the playoff phase, but we're looking to take something positive away. Nobody wants to go over for the weekend. Becca Hamilton. Incredibly experienced team. Team Peterson. And a very nice inside roll there from Becca Hamilton. That is a pistol. Great shot. 2/3 buried. Not only in the 4-person game, but in mixed doubles as well. Becca Hamilton, Olympian in mixed doubles. Tab Peterson competed very successfully in mixed doubles worlds. And of course, Corey Tesi, current world mixed doubles champion, teamed up with Corey Dropkin. And over the course of a competitive curling season, Team Peterson throw a lot of curling rocks in both formats of the sport. Terrific little corner freeze. Lisa Mumenthaler, big smile on her face, and justifiably so. Great shot. Chance for Tara Peterson to follow it down. Looking to get across nose and just change the angles here a little bit. Speaking of mixed doubles, that's a classic mixed doubles tactic. Corey switch. Becca Hamilton taking charge, looking for a little extra curl in the late going. Now we switch back. Happy to leave it short of the rings. So shot rock very well protected now. Stephanie Bursett rocketing out of the hack. This is a missile. Hammers the front, looking for a little bit of action on the stone behind, doesn't get it. Vaporized that center guard. Tab Peterson content to protect that shot rock right now. Looking where that angle freeze in front of it is and says, well, it's just full 8, so I've got lots of scoring area to work with. I'll consolidate here a little bit. Tells us that she's potentially pretty happy to keep playing the center. Michele Jaeggi with the hammer here after having blanked the third. Some discussion. Doesn't look like it's going to be a play on the center guard again. Quieter weight this time from Stephanie Barset. Momentaler on the inside brush, trying to keep the line. And he just clipped. I do think Michele was really looking to kind of get around that and maybe try to chip the red out. It just flicks the guard going by. Tabitha Peterson thinking, well, that rock in the top of the forefoot is maybe not as well protected as I thought, so I better throw another one up there. TC been given that job. Hamilton, Peterson on the brush is working this one pretty hard. So one rock swept through in the previous end, so I think there's a little bit more carry than the brushers maybe think there is out there. This one comes creeping tight to the rings, but perfect line. Nice shot by Corey Tacey. Shot rock got in there early from Becca Hamilton. Tabitha Peterson spent the entire end defending it. And Ashley Howard is going to try and have a go at running in the guard and messing things up in the house a little bit. Goes over the top. Have to clear the guard in that situation, but you always hold a little bit of your breath when you're running your opponent's stone into the stones in the rings. You can eliminate an opponent's stone that way, but you can also eliminate one of your own. Once more to the guarding well. Corey Tacey. This one is going to stay higher. And curl a little bit more. Looking near that center line. Cover shot rock well. Changes the angle that Michele's looking at for the run. Much tighter squeeze now if Michele's thinking right across the top of the yellow. That third guard, if you look on the right-hand side of our picture, just in front of the house, that actually would have to navigate to get across the top of the yellow. Goes across the top of the red instead, gets those stones moving. That's a pretty good result. Unlocked the two stones, but Tab Peterson still lying one. Spent the whole end guarding that shot rock. They do it one more time. Yes, they will. Separation now between the stones and the rings. So that means if Tab throws up that guard, it'll be difficult for Michele to clear guard and then redirect yellow onto red. Angles will be tough. Guard attempt, well, I've lost count really. Only number 5 or 6 in this end for Team Peterson. So they'll certainly be familiar with the path. And that's right where Tab patted her brush, maybe. No, pretty much exactly where she tapped her brush before she headed down to the other end. So that's where they wanted to put it. So decision time now for Michele Jaeggi. Run that guard in and go across the top of yours and hope that you can make a 3-angle redirect kind of removal. Going up the long guard and saying, oh, well, do we just double clear the long one? Maybe get some action that way and keep the blank alive. That seems to be the choice. You can also get really brave and try to run that long center one straight back, but that's about 15 feet. It seems like an unnecessary gamble when you've got a one-shot lead and the hammer. Playing the double clear. It brings a potential blank back into the picture and certainly improves the chance of you scoring and not giving up a steal. Clearing attempt on its way for Michele Jaeggi. Definitely bursted on the inside sweep. Plants it though. Does not remove the second guard. An advantage, Tab Peterson really. You can have a chance to stack up a second guard and overlap them and make it very, very difficult for Michele to score at all. Corey says, yep, right out here, I think, Skipper. The nice thing, if you throw the guard here, even if your opponent runs it in, makes, best they're going to do is get one. So you don't even need to worry about overlapping the guards. You just leave it for them. Much like a hockey goalie cutting down the angle. You leave it high. You're basically saying to Michele, how do you get in? And you can see Tab patting her brush as she was heading down to the delivery end, saying, that's kind of where I want to leave it. Take away as much of the path on the outturn side to the forefoot as possible, but also being mindful you don't want to leave a gap up the middle unintentionally and give Michele a chance to make a play directly on that yellow and tap the red. So job one is to protect that shot. Tab Peterson leaps on it out of hand. Safely over the hog line, no problem there. Sweeping that last little bit of curl and just enough, I think, to close off that port. So that was very well judged by all players. Good team shot there. Good weight from Tab. Good weight read from Tara. And good line read from Corey. And really, as Becca and Tara catch their breath after that coast-to-coast sweep, but it's totally worth it. Front-end players live for that kind of situation. Sweep the rock to an exact spot and you basically lock your opponent out. That's a good day at the office. Yep, I think where Michelle's got her brush is kind of all she's got. Well, not all she's got, but the easiest chance to score. Draw half the pin. Half the button, that is. You have to come out quite wide to do that. So we'll finish hard late. Taking stick just inside the blue paint of the 12-foot circle. So this one is really up to Stephanie and Lisa. They'll know to make. This one is going to have to be right on the tee line. That's their distance radar. Final stone of the fourth end coming up for Michele Jaeggi. Needs to draw full button around a pile just to score a single point. Stephanie jumps it out of hand. Nice thing about the inside sweeper, you get a great look at the line as well. Line's good. Where's the weight? Oh, how good is that? Terrific shot. Michele Jaeggi puts it on the button. Terrific read as well from Stephanie Bursett. And Michele Jaeggi with the saving draw for a single point. They lead at 4-2 as we hit the halfway point here in Swift Current.
I've got the bill.
Well, now I've got the tip.
Standard tip increased 2% this year.
That's why I keep you around. So, corn's looking great.
Well, our crop plan is working.
And we locked in that input financing at the perfect time.
Well, what do y'all think? Too blue? Not blue enough?
Try this.
Makes your eyes pop.
This could be our best yield yet.
And didn't we get this seed at a great financing rate?
Yeah, we did.
Iced tea?
Great idea.
Let's talk more about next year. I got some thoughts.
And I've got some numbers.
Nutrien Financial, financing that's in the field with you.
Welcome back to Swift Current, the Nutrien Ag Solutions Western Showdown. Women's event, 25 teams competing in the women's event here in Swift Current. They've been divided up into 5 pools of 5. This is the final game of the pool phase here in Pool E. Tabitha Peterson taking on Michele Jaeggi of Switzerland. And Peterson of the USA. And the terrific final stone draw on the fourth end from Michele. I've spent the entire end defending a shot rock, biting the button. Michele on her last, drawing around the pile and whipping it right on the lid for a single point to give her a 2-point edge. It was a terrific shot. Becca Hamilton. Played mixed doubles in the Olympic with her brother Matt. Matt Hamilton, one of the true characters of the game, and Becca gives him more than he can handle in the character on the ice department. They're a lot of fun to watch competing together. Becca, super competitor. That's that one half around the corner. Watch the release. This time straight at the target. Now, of course, this is Stephanie now. Contrasting the delivery styles between Lisa and Stephanie. And now it's the turn of Team Jaeggi to defend shot rock in the forefoot, throwing up a second guard. Couple of choices here for Tab. You could try to double clear, but you run some risk if you double clear the front guards. You could pinball them into your stone in the wings. You don't really want to disturb that corner guard. That's what you got. Probably lining up the double clear. You could consider clearing the stone the nearer of the two guards and running it across the face of the stone from the forefoot. You would leave the center guard up if you did that, but you might get two corners out of the result. But Tab electing to play the double clear on the top stone. Asking sister Tara Peterson. I imagine they'd want to go across the top on this. They want to keep their corner guard. Well, they just stuff sideways straight into their corner guard. They probably improve the corner guard as a result. Now covering the inside of that stone in the wings. That's a pretty good result. They do plant on the double clear, so there is still a center guard there for Michele Jaeggi, and she'll try to stack one up now. Stephanie Berset. This one creeping a little closer to their other center guard than they would like. Actually wind up corner freezing it. Tab says that's fine with me. You don't mind if they jam, because if that higher of those two stone squirts maybe a rock or two to the right, might undercut and go underneath the other corner guard, and you might wind up with one perfectly guarded and get another corner guard out of it as well. Only bad result is nose, really. Just off nose. Pounds it. Everything cleared away. I'm a little surprised they didn't want to try and save the delivered stone a little bit for a corner guard. Maybe the thinking process for Tab is just keep it open. You've got a second shot under cover. For a conservative too, as opposed to kind of gambling and leaving junk up there. You've got the end kind of set up the way you want now. So sometimes playing for a safe two is better than playing for a risky three. Because if you leave junk up, all of a sudden, you make a half shot, and you wind up having to bail out, and your opponent comes up with a force against you. I'm aware of the scoreboard situation, so she's thinking, if we just get this game tied up, we can reset and really attack the last few ends of this game. Ashley Howard. Definitely a lot more carry on the draws in this game than I've seen in other games this weekend. Ice has been great. There's been lots of curl, lots of late finish. And this afternoon, there's like 2 or 3 extra feet of pace as well. Well-positioned guard. Couple of ways to make here. Nose straight back, but you're going to leave a guard in the center across the top. And the guard will go away a little bit off the center line. Let's see how Corey wants to play it. Tabitha Peterson now sweeping for curl. Oh, they just get contact on that shot in the back. Very nice. Another nice shot from Corey Teesey. Does leave that guard, though, in the center guard position. And Michele Jaeggi immediately saying, well, we got to duck one around now. Hamilton, Tab Peterson, sharing a smile in the background. And Ashley Howard tries to dial up the forefoot. Well clear of the guard. This one is going to be skating. We talked about the ice having a couple of extra feet of pace. Well, it will come to rest right on the tee line. Very good shot. Fully buried. That'll earn a fist bump from Michele. Very similar shot now for Corey. Except this time running her own stone back, and she's going to try to plant it. Becca Hamilton trying to hold the line. It's over curling, and it flies through the gap. The sweeping hole right out of hand. So that one just a fraction narrow. Does move the guard. Only the decision here for Michele is to hold guard or go around for second shot. The guard is the preferred option 9 times out of 10 here. If you ever decide to come around for second shot and you don't make, your execution tolerance is way less, and you're basically inviting your opponent to score 2 and maybe 3. Michele just asking Stephanie about this particular path. You know she's got draw weight. She drew lid in the last end. Maybe they're just wondering, on this track, is it going to maybe track a little bit? When you're throwing a guard, the line is much more important than the weight. After having nudged the brush in, Michele asks for the brush to be nudged back out again. We'll look for this one to be about halfway. Stephanie burst it on the brush. Lisa Mumenthaler escorting this one down the ice. This one's going to over-curl. So after all that debate and discussion about the line, narrowed up the brush, widened up the brush, but maybe didn't widen up the brush enough. That one is half open. Great chance here for Tab Peterson. 2 to come, and really the decision here is how aggressive you want to go. Maximum aggressive says you play it really skinny to the guard that Michele just threw with backline weight and get across nose and get a little inside flop. That's how you score 3. More conservative, you say, hit half, roll it away to the right-hand side as we look at Corey. Get some separation, be happy with scoring 2. So let's see how Tab wants to play this situation. It's a great opportunity. You definitely want to put as much pressure as you can on Michele on her final stone. Becca Hamilton thinks it's down. If the weight's down, it will curl more. Well by the guard, no problem there. They are going to get a little outside flop, but only a tiny bit. That's sort of in no man's land. A wry expression from Tab Peterson. She knows that she's kind of opened the door a little bit for Michele here. That inside roll that she would need to get cover is only about 1 or 2 rock widths. That's much easier to read as far as a roll goes. As the line caller, basically calling it to play to nose and then almost letting it over curl. Normally, if you're playing to nose, you're obviously trying to keep it high side and let it finish to nose. And when you're looking for a little inside roll, you're saying, all right, play it to nose and then just call the sweepers off, let it finish. It needs to flop a little bit to get some cover. Stone at the back of the 12-foot really won't be a factor, I don't think. So this is all about the line and the roll. Michele Jaeggi. Sweeping for curl. This has got a ton of curling to do. Well, just as soon as I say the one in the back 12 isn't a factor, maybe it's a jam. That one swept for curl maximum. But the best they can do is get to nose, so it will be. Fairly routine shot coming up here for Tab Peterson. No real worry about a jam in the back. Second shot in the 8-foot will easily outcount that. And really just the same shot that Michele just threw. Get to nose, take your 2. Then we go on to the 6th. Tab Peterson on it immediately. No problem here. Plenty of inside roll available for Tab Peterson, and there is that too. So after 5 ends of play, we are all tied up in swift current. Tab Peterson 4 and Michele Jaeggi 4.
Light up your love for curling with our customizable neon LED lights from Letterlands. Choose your new neon mixed doubles partner or make a statement with a neon curling rock in your window. Also actual Letterlands. Use discount code WHOA for 15% off. Only at Letterlands.com.
We asked Saskatchewan what they know about 5G.
More speed, more innovation.
It's gonna make our lives a whole heck of a lot easier.
This is what 5G looks like. Better, faster.
Sounds like one more G. Sounds pretty good.
I don't know what it means.
All you really need to know is the future of 5G is here and will continue improving through investments in network technology.
Swift Current is great because everybody that we do business with, we know on some sort of personal level.
What I love about Swift Current is the vibrant arts and culture community.
I really like Swift Current. We are not a big city, but the size of the city is really good and we have everything.
Swift Current is a great sports town, great teams and great fans.
People say, good morning, hi, how are you, even though we don't know each other.
So with the impact to my business and income, will this delay my retirement?
I know you're worried, Marshall, but based on the original plan we came up with, you're only about 6 months behind.
I thought it would be years, not months.
You should feel good. Remember, you've got a plan.
Thanks.
With change comes questions. See the impact of your money decisions before you make them with RBC Wealth Plan.
Welcome back to Swift Current. It's the Nutrien Ag Solutions Western Showdown. Tabitha Peterson and Michele Jaeggi deadlocked at 4. So we are headed for a fantastic finish this afternoon in the Swift Current. Michele Jaeggi opened the game with a 3 in the first end. Tabitha Peterson came right back with a pair. Michele blanked the third. Then made a potentially game-saving draw in the fourth end against around a pile. Needed the lid, got it to give her a 4-2 lead. Tab Peterson came back with 2 in the fifth, and that's where we are as we get play going in end number 6. Becca Hamilton. And throwing up a long center guard on her first. Try to go around it here with her second. Clear of the guards, and now watch this late finish. I want to keep that rock in motion. And they hide a good quarter. Perfect weight. Michele Jaeggi saying to Lisa Mumenthaler, how much can you see? Pats her hip, says, okay, give me board. Now we're going to get a chance to look at the delivery of Lisa Mumenthaler. Watch her eyes on release. Like Fernando Valenzuela. Take his eyes away from the target and then throw a baseball. Lisa Mumenthaler takes her eyes away from the target and lets it fly. Cannot argue with the result. Sticks around for a bonus. That's a great shot. That's how you do it. Lisa making it look easy. And once again, a happy smile. And Stephanie comes down to give her a well-deserved fist bump. Great shot. So the early part of the end, things shaping up well for Team Jaeggi. They've got the hammer here. It's an even end. And we've got the Rocks in very good positions in the early going. And Peterson saying, well, through the center guard for a reason. We're going to try to use it, but this one is going to track wide and it's going to slide deep. How deep? Well, it looks like it slid all the way into second shot position. Michele has a quick look just to confirm that as Tara looks on a little bit ruefully. Michele saying, okay, well, we're lying 1 here. We're lying first and third. Tab's been trying to use that center guard the whole end. Let's rip it. Stephanie Barrett. So plenty of weight. She easily removes that center guard. So things wide open now. Conservative, but I think a good call there from Michele. Keeps your options open. Tons of distance between the Yellowstones and the rings right now. You got the hammer. Moving the guard basically says, well, we can do Ken Watson curling and just trade shots on the wide side, and maybe we can score 2 that way without taking on really any risk at all. But if Tab comes along, doubles ours off, well, maybe we just flip the script and play for a blank. Here's that cross house attempt, goes underneath. The Yellowstone on the wing survives. And into that scenario I was just talking about. Michele saying, okay, we'll just nose hit the back one. And if you can keep separation for 2 or 3 more shots, you might wind up just having a nose hit for a pair. That would be outstanding. For this strategy to work, though, you need to be absolutely perfect with your nose hits. That's pretty good. Does close it up a little bit. So the angle for the double now is a little bit more natural for Tab Peterson. Double is makeable. Don't want to get ahead of ourselves, but it'll be interesting to see what Michele does in reply should Corey make the double here. Got 1, got 2. Very, very nice shot by Corey T. She's had a terrific game. Eliminates those 2 stones, and there's the answer to our question. What would Michele do? She says, well, I still want to keep it 2 alive. I'm not going to blank this one out. There's Corey. Yeah, just another day at the office. World champion mixed doubles player. Showing us a full range of shots here in 4-person curling. Very, very nice double takeout. Ashley Howard being asked to freeze that one. So that tells us that Michele hasn't given up on the 2 just yet. We'll still try to force some kind of an error by attempting a freeze here. Stephanie and Lisa on it right out of hand. Michele out to join. This one's going to be light. You do not want to leave it short of the rings. That would be adding insult to injury. And it does come up short of the ring, so they wind up guarding the stone as opposed to freezing to it. And now opens the door to Tab Peterson. Whip one around that stone. And the force is on. Maybe a steal. 6th end often so pivotal, especially when you've got a tied game like this. Team that scores here usually carries an advantage in the win column. Tab Peterson will know the math. So if there's ever an end to steal, this is it. Corey to her out turn side. Tab Peterson, Tara Peterson, as she often does, just jumps it immediately out of hand. Keep the momentum, no risk at all around crashing the guard. Well clear of that guard. And Rebecca Hamilton swooping for a little bit of finish. Hides a 3rd. Tara just tidying up there, found a bit of debris on the ice surface. Team Peterson lying 2. And Ashley Howard with a shot at redemption. Came up late on a freeze attempt, and Michele's going to ask her to run that guard stone that she inadvertently threw on her first stone back into the reds, and if the angles are right, potentially double them off. Stephanie pivots to the inside sweep. It's close. No, eliminates one. And springs out the side door. So close, but no cigar for Ashley Howard. That'll give Tab Peterson a chance to really duplicate the shot that Corey just threw. Three-quarters around that yellow on the outturn side front button would be perfecto. If we can make that, shows that Michele is likely to try that run again. But even if Michele does successfully make that run, Tab knows that there's going to be a center guard that she might be able to use for her last. But first things first, got to get one in there here. Once again, Tara jumps it immediately. Seems the way that Tara and Becca work, Becca's very much in charge of judging distance, and Tara's job is to put her head down and keep it moving. And that is darn near perfect. Would love to hide a little bit more than she did, but the angles are good. If Michele chases that, there is a risk of a jam now. Does mean that if she tries the raise and makes, she's unlikely to leave a center guard. The angles now are a little bit different. Saw Michele make an incredible draw to the button down this path 2 ends ago. Could try a shot like that here. Heavy bump. Get to nose or just across nose, ideally push that redstone back a couple of feet, and that looks like what they're going to try. I like this call in this situation. You go playing weighted shot rock and you jam. You're basically gifting your opponent a force, and Tab will just lightly whip around the center guard again anyways. So if you're going to score in this situation and potentially keep the 2 alive, you need to take on a little bit of risk. Try to get across nose of that one on the button. Just push it back, and that way you keep a 2 alive. This is going to require the precision of a surgeon. Lots of pressure on the line call here. Stephanie reading line as well as weight. And she's taking that inside line on the sweep. Comfortably by the guard, that's not a problem. Now sweeping for curl. And they played that a bit conservatively. Had a chance to get across nose a little bit. I do think because of that angle now, well, I'm going to take a long look at it. It's pretty close. I was going to say it's yellow, but looking at it again, it might be red in terms of whose first shot. And that's probably what Stephanie had in mind. She said, okay, I know the line's a bit wide, but I got to keep it moving because we do need to push the stone as well as kind of get across nose. It's a very nice shot by Michele. It's kind of a difficult choice here for Tab Peterson. You know, if you leave it for her, Michelle's just going to tap that up. But if you're thinking, how do we steal this end? Kind of tempted. Well, and everything depends who shot rock. Can't guard everything is the problem. Guard the outturn tap. Michele can come down the intern side. She only has to move that red stone in the back button. If she has to move it at all, a centimeter for a 2. And you recognize that you can't guard everything. You need to make a choice on what you're going to commit to yourself. You can see Pat tab padding the stone position just in front of the red stone at the back of the button. And I do think this is the call, even though you're taking on some risk doing it. The objective here is to steal. And the worst case is a force. And the best way to do that, weld one right in front of the red, sitting on the button, lead Michele to tap. The best Michele's going to do is 1. So after that discussion, gives a great chance to think about the options, and Tab Peterson playing the intern freeze. Becca on the inside sweep on this freeze attempt, and this one is over curling a ton. All over the center guard, oh my goodness. Pushes the guard a little bit more in the path of Michele to make that tap a little bit less usable. And in the process also cutting off a path a little bit to the redstone back button. By Michele, I'm still thinking that's probably the shot to try. By the shot to try, I mean the intern draw. You'd basically be thinking, draw the button, knowing that you only have to push that redstone a fraction to score 2. But it's going to be the tap for 1. Michele deciding it's not worth the risk of the stone maybe not curling enough on the intern side to make the shot for 2. So saying it's an even end. Scoring a single is more important than taking a risk to try and score 2. Recognizing that this is an end if Tab was to steal. Tab would be delighted, so taking the safer play. And if it was a measure, very difficult to tell from the overhead shot who's actually shot, but I'm looking to remove any doubt whatsoever. Only has to touch that front stone on the button half a centimeter to absolutely guarantee that they get their single point. Stephanie Barrett. The main thing to make is make sure you got the good line. Well, definitely got the good line. And no doubt about it now. Single point yellow. Michele Jaeggi with the little tap to make sure that she locks in her 1 in the even end. So 6 ends complete here in Swift Current. Team Jaeggi leading now by a score from 5-4 over Tab Peterson.
Imagine being able to stream every curling game from every sheet from any event, be it your Wednesday league game, bonspiel, or corporate event. Curling Stadium offers an all-inclusive streaming solution featuring high-quality cameras, ease of use, great reliability, and minimal installation. Offering your sponsors customizable ad space on your streamed curling games and being able to sell video packages to your corporate events for increased revenue. With Curling Stadium, you can stream to any device, be it your mobile phone, tablet, or computer. Push the feed to your desired platform, be it Facebook, YouTube, or any other social media. Curling Stadium is simply the way forward. Where it's commonplace in other sports to televise every game, we want to do the same. Curling is a global sport, and it's time it gets the coverage it needs. Make your curling club the next Curling Stadium.
Well, what do y'all think? Too blue? Not blue enough?
Try this.
Makes your eyes pop.
This could be our best yield yet.
And didn't we get this seed at a great financing rate?
Yeah, we did.
Iced tea?
Great idea.
Let's talk more about next year. I got some thoughts.
And I've got some numbers.
Nutrien Financial, financing that's in the field with you.
SaskTel Be Kind Online wants to stop cyberbullying. Want in on the action? We award up to $1,000 for youth initiatives that help spread kindness and prevent bullying. What great idea do you have to help stop bullying? SaskTel can help. Go to BeKindOnline.com and apply for a grant today. Together, we can make a difference.
Welcome back to Swift Current. It's the 7th end of this 8-end game. Michele Jaeggi enjoying a narrow 1-point lead over Tab Peterson of the U.S. Interesting shot selection from Michele on her last stone in 6. She had a high-risk option to score 2, but chose the safe option to score 1. Shows us how important the players consider having a lead on the scoreboard late in the game. Michele absolutely did not want to give up a steal in that situation, so took the safe play for the single. Tab Peterson with the hammer here in the 7th. Becca Hamilton being asked to deal with the stone in the rings. I imagine that Tab will play this one, keeping the thought of blank alive. Michele happy just to play along. Trade shot for shot. Hoping that late in the end, she might get a chance to generate a force. Stephanie Berset. This one's got a little bit of movement on it. Over curling, it's definitely not going to stick around. Just enough to push it out of the rings. So a few moments of heart in the mouth there for Team Jaeggi, but they get the stone off the rings. Once again, Tab Peterson saying, her teammates are saying, Tab was going to go to the wings. The team said, there have been 5 rocks thrown. We can clear the center now if you want. Tab says, oh yeah, you're right. 3-yard zone. Part of the end is over. And this tells us is Tara Peterson does a nice job of ripping that guard. Plan A, B, and C for Tab Peterson is blank end number 7. Nothing in play, nowhere to hide for Stephanie Berset. When you're a second player and a third player in this part of the end, you basically know what the next 6 shots are going to be. Stephanie will be throwing one up there, knowing that Tara's going to just jump into the hack and try to rip it off. But you just got to keep doing your job, one shot at a time. Use that overused curling cliche. Not laying a brush to it. Well, now sweeping for curl. Just enough contact to push it off. Michele looking to change the guard position a little bit. It's kind of all you can do when you know that your opponent's just going to be peeling. Try to change the shot for them just subtly so they just can't throw down the same path every time. Ashley Howard. This one's got some skates on, creeping towards the rings. And it will come to rest. Well, just short. Doesn't really matter. Tab is going to rip it anyways. By having that stone slide a little deeper, it does change the perspective a little bit for the shooter and the line reader. And there is the nose hit Michele Jaeggi was hoping for. So an opportunity now to pounce and whip one around that nosed clear attempt. Be disappointing for Tab. At least that one's really tight to the rings, and so if Michele does wind up getting one around there, it'll be a relatively short run back as Ashley Howard follows it down. This one moving hard, and it's going to be really tight, and will actually clip that one. Tab comes out to sweep it onto the rings. So does this change the dynamic at all for Tab? Do you start thinking about a pair now as opposed to a blank? If you're committed to the blank, you hammer the yellow on the red side of the rock, red handled stone side of the rock, go across the top, probably clear all three. If you're committed to the blank. If you're ambivalent and you're wanting to keep two alive, maybe you just split the house. So Michele does. She'll probably just hit shot rock. Might tap center, don't know. They're kind of all out for the two. Maybe you split red. Maybe you duck around the yellow. But after having cleared center guards, Corey came down to have a chat about it. On reflection, they're thinking, well, we played this end hoping we could blank. Hit this one hard halfway on the inside. Maybe get everything moving and get ourselves right back in position to blank the end. And that's exactly what she does. Terrific shot from Corey. She's had such a good game. And all of a sudden, Corey Casey tidies up the error on the nose hit. That's kind of all you want as a player. You make a mistake on one shot, you'll have an opportunity to kind of clean up your own mistake on the next one, and that's exactly what Corey did. That was a terrific shot. So we're back to nothing in play. No chance that this will be a guard. Michele will throw this into the rings. So this end is brewing in a way that it's really going to come down to the final blank attempt from Tab Peterson. Just as soon as I say there's no chance that this is going to be a guard, she throws a guard. Teasing Tab, saying, okay, if you still want your two, I'll tempt you to try and go around a guard. Tab's having none of that. A nice try. Trying to fish me in. Not going to take the bait. Tab Peterson having shown us that she's committed to the blank. Staying true to her thoughts. Not shifting gears now and all of a sudden late in the end saying, let's go for two. Becca Hamilton now sweeping for a bit of curl. It's going to catch it pretty thin. Oh, and not going to catch it at all. Hello. And that kind of changes everything. Not expecting Tabitha Peterson to whiff on a clearing attempt. The door wide open for Michele Jaeggi to get the lowest risk of forces. See Tab with her sister trying to figure out what the heck happened there. After having control of the entire end. And that missed clearing attempt, Michele Jaeggi really has a chance to grab near total control of the game. If she could steal this end, or more likely, force Tab to a single point. In either of those situations, she'll be entering that 8th end in a very, very good position. Good looking line and good looking weight. And we'll come to rest. Back button. Tab lining it up says, okay, it poked out a corner. We pick it out. And this is the shot of redemption for Tab Peterson. Don't want to be unkind, but really, on the previous attempt, missed on the outturn side on the clearing attempt on the center guard. If she was to throw down that exact same path, she would pick out the shot rock and get her blank. So a chance to turn maybe a negative thought into a positive thought. Saying, really, I just have to throw it right down the same line I just threw. Difference being this time you're happy to miss the guard as opposed to be very unhappy if you hit the guard this time. Trying to pick out shot rock around a center guard. Tara Peterson on it immediately. It's going to be close. It's going to be close. And this time she clips the center guard, and it's a steal for Michele Jaeggi. My goodness. A steal out of nothing for Team Jaeggi. Tab Peterson missed a clear attempt on her first, wrecked on the pick attempt on her second. Michele Jaeggi steals a point and leads at 6-4 as we head for the 8th end in Swift Current.
I've been farming on my own right for 40 years now, I think. It's a very wholesome enterprise. You have very, very busy periods when you have to go hard. So many of our windows are so tight that you just can't afford to miss a couple days of seeding.
When a producer places their trust in us, that when it's time for them to be able to make their living, we're going to be there. That's a tremendous responsibility that is not a one-day-a-year thing, right? In order to actually deliver on that, you have to build your processes and you have to build your team and you have to have a mindset of operational excellence, because there's a lot of things that can go wrong. And it's our job to make sure that they don't go wrong. Or if they do go wrong, that we can fix it before it affects our customer.
So with the impact to my business and income, will this delay my retirement?
I know you're worried, Marshall, but based on the original plan we came up with, you're only about 6 months behind.
I thought it would be years, not months.
You should feel good. Remember, you've got a plan.
Thanks.
With change comes questions. See the impact of your money decisions before you make them with RBC Wealth Plan.
Light up your love for curling with our customizable neon LED lights from Letterlands. Choose your new neon mixed doubles partner or make a statement with a neon curling rock in your window. Also actual Letterlands. Use discount code WHOA for 15% off. Only at Letterlands.com.
Welcome back to Swift Current. It's the Nutrien Ag Solutions Western Showdown. We are in the 8th end of play in this game between Michele Jaeggi of Switzerland and Tabitha Peterson of the USA. A very even game, but a huge steal of one for Team Jaeggi in the 7th end as Tabitha Peterson wrecked on a center guard, trying to pick out Shot Rock to get the blank. And so Team Jaeggi carrying a 2-point edge here into this 8th end. Both teams looking for their first win of the competition. And that is a very, very good guard by Lisa Mumenthaler. Squarely in front of Shot Rock, tight to the rings. Hard to place it in a better spot than that. Team Peterson, they will be ignoring the center stones. They're thinking 3. 5 rock, 3 guard zone, no tick rule. So 2 corner guards set now by Tabitha Peterson. Realizing that, well, taking 2 and getting to an extra end is better than losing the game. They think that their best chance to win, and I would agree, is to do everything possible to score 3 here in the 8th. So that explains 2 corner guards for Tabitha Peterson. And here we can see the impact of the 5 rock free guard zone on our sport. In the old days, 4 rock free guard zone. Michele would be ripping a guard right now. But because of the 5 rock free guard zone, that is not an option. So the discussion is, where do we throw it that doesn't make things riskier for us? I know it seems a bit crazy, but this might be a situation where you might decide just to throw it through. Throw it in the rings. And that might be something that Tab can use to generate some offense. Throw it short of the rings. Tab is licking her chops and saying, great, guards to go around. So the discussion is, where do you throw it that can help you? Michele wanted to keep the pressure on Tab. You don't want to make it easy for them to score 2. So she's saying, let's bring another one into the rings. Challenge for me, throwing another rock in play just makes it harder to clear guards, because you're just having something else in the rings that those corner guards could jam on if you're trying to clear them. But they are electing to throw a rock into play here. Stacking the center guards. It's the more traditional approach. Tabitha Peterson saying, okay, we've got tons of guards now. Now it's time to maybe attack the rings. Corey saying, well, what if we tap the second one and maybe spill into the rings ourselves? That's an option. And if you're playing for 3, you're taking chances. That's for certain. You threw the corner guards for a reason. You choose to whip around one of the corner guards now on this shot. You also know Shot Rock is now having a wall built in front of it. So part of you is saying, well, we got to do something to at least get one in the area of Shot Rock and give Michele something to think about. So after some long discussion, they do seem to be thinking about making some kind of a little feather shot. And there you can see hack weight on the nearer of the 2 center guard stones. I like this call for what it's worth. you don't wind up spilling your own stone onto the rings, you at least change the path into the shot rock, and if you do clip, your delivered stone, if it's not on the ring, should at least be splittable. There's the hit, there's the spill. So, does not spin onto the rings, unfortunately, for Team Peterson, but does push the other yellow stone, if not completely off the rings, close to completely off the rings. The scoring area is now quite open, and Michele Jaeggi saying, okay, better stack them up again. And that creates a few more options for Tab. Now you've got run-ins from either corner guard. The faint possibility of a split on that stone just delivered by Tara. You get a chance to play it, that is. Michele Jaeggi trying to prevent that from happening by stacking guards. Burst it. This one is going to be close to the corner guard. They're looking for a little bit of a late feather, and they just missed that, so it's going to slide deep-ish, makes a little touch, and goes back 8 foot. So Tab's got what she wants now. Stone's on or behind the tee line, lots of guards up the front. So if you're trying to score 3 and you're sitting there 3 stones into the end for each player, really couldn't be better in terms of offensive possibilities for Team Peterson here. Let's see what they can do with it. Tab knows she's probably not going to get many better chances than this to do something with that stone on the button now. She will ask sister Tara to just tap it back. Got a lot of places you can leave the roll here. You get across nose, you can leave it behind the center guard. You can chip and spill it away from the 4 foot area. Becca Hamilton sweeping for curl. They need to get a piece first, of course. You get that piece, they move it the back of the 4 foot circle, spill in front of the other yellow stone. That's not a bad result. They would have liked to punch it another foot or 2 if they could have. Now the 4 foot circle a little bit more open. You can see on the left hand side of our picture, there is a port between the red and the yellow guards to get at the stone in the back of the 4 foot for Tab. No matter the result of this shot, Team Peterson will have a chance to get something behind cover, even if it's not shot. I like the aggressive mindset by Tab Peterson in this end. He's playing all out for 3. If you play all out for 3, sometimes the 2 just kind of happens. And there you see the jam. Ashley Howard, and this is exactly what I was describing. Rocks in play. Not a good thing for Team Jaeggi. That jam shot now increases the probabilities ever so slightly for Tab Peterson in scoring 3. Looks to me like the discussion is, can you make a thin play on the stone in front of the tee line and Flip it, move it. I'm not sure how much that helps them. If you could ever just angle bump that yellow a couple of inches with an inside corner freeze, you could set up jams. Question is, how do you get there? You've got center guards and corner guards. Judging by where Tab has got the brush, it looks to me like they're gonna try to go cross face on the target stone. The red stone's in third shot position, so you don't mind too much if you move it. You just don't want to lose it. You want to keep it in the rings. Corey Tisi. Weights down, it's going to finish hard late. Here it comes. Oh, that's a beauty. The terrific game continues for Corey Tisi. He calmly stands at the hog line, which he normally does. Very, very even demeanor on the ice for Corey. That has really created the possibilities now for Team Peterson. Now getting yourself to an extra end seems, I wouldn't quite say likely yet, but highly probable. And you dare to dream that you can get the 3 and win the game. Ashley Howard has something to say about that. Trying to lock out Team Peterson with a freeze. Tried to freeze a couple of ends ago, came up about 6 feet light. Reverse it on the brush, offering her opinion about where this one's going to end up. Cozy's up alongside the red stone. Not perfectly frozen to it. So there is a path here that Corey is eyeing up. Come in, turn side. You can move yellow and save red. Maybe leave yourself frozen right in front of your own stone if in the process, with some backing. These are the situations where this mixed doubles experience really comes into beneficial play, because in mixed doubles you're playing shots like this all the time. Little taps, little bump freezes. I think that's the kind of shot that this situation dictates. Looking at the brush, probably about half weight. Maybe 7/8 on the high side of the Yellowstone. She makes that flop across right in front of your red and leave yourself red stacked with backing behind it. She can make that. And a 3-ender is very much on the cards for Team Peterson. Shot on its way for Corey Tisi. First job, get through the port. Tara Peterson sweeping for curl. This one's got a lot of moving to do late. Here it comes. And they push it through. Might have actually got too much late curl. Didn't leave themselves sitting in front of their red, but they do leave themselves lying to in shot rock. Well buried behind the center guard. 2/3 covered. Very nice shot. Conclude what has been a very, very good game for Corey Tisi. He has made spectacular shot after spectacular shot for Team Peterson today. There's a Player of the Game award to give. I think Corey would be getting my vote today. Team Peterson trailing by 2, 8th end, but they've got the hammer. They're lying 2. And now things get very, very dicey indeed for Michele Jaeggi. Stephanie's going to come down and join the conversation. Play down to shot, rock, and freeze, which is what they're talking about now. If you make it, maybe you'll lock them in. Make it 2 almost impossible. So this is one of these calls that it's a fantastic shot when you make it. But if you don't make it perfect, you could wind up losing the game. It's not quite all or nothing time for Michele Jaeggi, but this is not far away from it. I believe she is going to try to freeze shot rock right on the nose. If she makes, she's saying to Tab Peterson, try and get 2. This is a shot choice dictated by the scoreboard. You never played this shot with a 1-point lead, but with a 2-point lead, it's an option. Waiting for it to make its move. It's got a lot of curling to do. Here it comes. Almost going to finish late. Pretty good. Is she second shot? I think she is. Closer look. Corey's having a close look at it. Gee whiz. It's very close. Yeah, I'm not going to try to guess who's second shot. Let's focus on what the shot choices are going to be for Tab. She's going to have to clear her mind after 2 misses in the 7th end. She missed a peel and then she crashed a guard trying to get around that guard to try and peel out for the blank. Here's a situation where Tab wants to score 3 and win. You get the sense that she's going to have to make some kind of a play on that stone that Michele just delivered. The question is how and what's the best way to do that. If you could ever get by the center guard with weight on the intern side and just pick yellow sideways, clip red, you might bounce the one in the back 4-foot back and bring that 3rd red counter into play as 3rd shot. Thing is, I'm sure Tab is thinking, I don't want to disturb these stones too much. I want to move them, but I don't want to blow my own red stones out of the 4-foot in the process. It's just instinctively for me, the play on the intern side feels more natural. See Corey, yeah, push yellow back here. I mean, whatever shot she plays, it's not going to be an easy shot. It's going to be a risky, high risk, high reward kind of shot. She could consider promoting her corner guard. That's even riskier, but the angle would be better. The left side corner guard in onto the yellow. Not too much percentage in clearing the center guard here. Michele would just follow her own down, potentially blow up the end. We continue to look at this intern side, and Corey's saying, "What can you see, Becca? Can you see any of it?" Becca Hamilton saying, "You can see a sliver of it," which is really all you need depending on the weight that you're going to throw. If you can see a sliver, then you can throw hack weight, board weight at it. Now Becca's going to come down after having a look from the hack end to offer her perspective, and it's a really valuable perspective. When you've been down there in the hack, you can say exactly what you can see. All the conversation is around moving that yellow rock on an angle away from the pile. And if you're going to move that yellow rock on an angle away from the pile, you are going to have to throw at a minimum backline weight. Probably hack weight, maybe even hack plus, because yellow is almost certainly going to clip the red shot rock on the way by, lose its momentum. So if you're going to hit that sliver, you're going to have to hit that sliver with a bit of pace. If she comes across and hits half the yellow, very good chance that she leaves yellow lying shot, which they do not want to do. So crucial setup shot here for Tab Peterson. After all that discussion, they are going to play the in-turn through the port, trying to shift that Yellowstone front button. Here we go. Corey Teesey screaming for line. Oh, they're just by, trying to keep that momentum. And there we see that contact and yellow onto red, but Tab kept enough of the angle to push the yellow out of the button and leave themselves lying. And let's see, that is line 1, 4, and 5 right now. She has created a pocket for Michele, who tried the freeze attempt on her previous shot. And I like this call. If she can get the stone right there, probably, well, I was going to say probably game over. Tab's going to have some kind of shot. But if she can wedge one in there, how does Tab get it out? Because you're going to have jams either side. I do think it's the call. Anywhere on the inside, pin side of that red shot rock, it's going to make it difficult, if not impossible, for Tab to get it through the rings without jamming on something. Intriguing eighth end. I go all the way back to the 5th shot of the end. And there were 2 corner guards up, a center guard and a guard in the rings. Shot number 5. Michele elected to keep that stone in play. Could have just thrown it off the sideboards. A little less cluttered, and now here we are. Well, let's count them up. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 rocks in the rings. 2 more around the periphery. 3 rocks in front of the rings. Not the kind of end you want to play when you've got a 2-rock lead. But all will be forgiven if she can drill this freeze right on the lid. Michele Jaeggi lining it up. Caught a peek of Benoit Schwartz Van Berkel in the background. Supporting his countrywomen. Shot on its way. Michele Jaeggi. Stephanie Bursitt on the brush. The line's great. Where's the weight? Nudges it back. Well, has she left a sideways push out the side of the door? Shot for Tab Peterson. Just that little bit of extra weight created that little bit of a gap. I think if Tab can hammer second shot, shot rock should go sideways. And that would be for the win. The delivered stone's going to jam on the red stone back forefoot. So the question is going to be, can you squeeze them all out and score 3? Or are the jams going to mean the best we're going to do is 2? All you want is a chance, and Tab Peterson has absolutely got a chance here. Wants to hit the stone behind the brush first. Wants to hit maybe a third of it. Jump sideways to the left and push that shot rock directly leftwards as we look at it facing Corey Teese. Final shot on its way for Tab Peterson. Needs to curl. Moves it. Did she move it enough to score 2? Definitely got 1. Needed to hit that a little bit thinner. Hits it a little bit thinner. There's no doubt that we're going to an extra end. I'm going to kick that one away. 1 point for sure. But it looks like we're going to have a measure for the second. Is the game over? Or are we going to an extra end? Shot was there for Tab Peterson. Just needed a fraction more curl. Would have been really interesting to see what would have happened with the rock reactions. If she caught that one a little bit thinner, might have got the 3. She's got 1. Does she have 2? Are we going to an extra end? Or is this game over right here and now? The 8th end will end on a measure. Will the game end on a measure? We're going to find out here in a few seconds. Well, I don't see any handshakes yet, so it looks like an extra end. We'll just wait for confirmation of that, but okay, well, let's assume we're playing an extra end. 2 points for Team Peterson, and we're going to go to an extra here in Swift Current.
Light up your love for curling with our customizable neon LED lights from Letterlands. Choose your new neon mixed doubles partner or make a statement with a neon curling rock in your window. Also actual Letterlands. Use discount code WHOA for 15% off. Only at Letterlands.com.
We asked Saskatchewan what they know about 5G.
More speed, more innovation.
It's gonna make our lives a whole heck of a lot easier.
This is what 5G looks like.
Better, faster.
Sounds like one more G. Sounds pretty good.
I don't know what it means.
All you really need to know is the future of 5G is here and will continue improving through investments in network technology.
Swift Current is great because everybody that we do business with, we know on some sort of personal level.
What I love about Swift Current is the vibrant arts and culture community.
I really like Swift Current. We are not a big city, but the size of the city is really good and we have everything.
Swift Current is a great sports town, great teams and great fans.
People say, good morning, hi, how are you, even though we don't know each other.
So with the impact to my business and income, will this delay my retirement?
I know you're worried, Marshall, but based on the original plan we came up with, you're only about 6 months behind.
I thought it would be years, not months.
You should feel good. Remember, you've got a plan.
Thanks.
With change comes questions. See the impact of your money decisions before you make them with RBC Wealth Plan.
And welcome back to Swift Current. We are in an extra end at the Nutrien Ag Solutions Western Showdown in this enthralling game, really now, between Tab Peterson and Michele Jaeggi. Both teams looking for their first win of the weekend. Tab Peterson pulling out a pair on a measure in the 8th end to take us to the extra end. Michele Jaeggi will have hammer here in the extra. That characteristic downward look. Lisa Mumenthaler. I'll have to try that sometime on a slide. Not very often you see players changing their head position on release, but Lisa certainly does. A little bit heavy. A little bounce, creating a little bit of a pocket. Center guards are stacked now for Team Peterson. Nice job by Becca Hamilton setting the table here. This Team Peterson looking to steal the extra end. So with that little bounce, even though the stones are in front of the tee line, almost a little natural pocket now for Tab Peterson to work with. Sister Tara at the other end. Team Peterson will not want to remove these rocks from play, but they will want to reposition them just a little bit. Have to get a cross nose on the first one and just graze the shot rock if they can. This has got a good looking line. And she does exactly that. Pretty good. Doesn't move shot rock off the pin, but does leave their own stone angled in front. Michele correctly ignoring the stones in the rings, realizing that the danger stones are the ones in front of the rings. Stephanie Bersett will try the clear. Double clear will be tough. They're lined up well and there's good separation. Single peel. Now a decision for Tab. Do you reset the double stack? Or do you go in now and create a little bit of clutter in the button area, knowing that Michelle's going to come back and rip the center guard regardless? After a bit of discussion at the other end, Tab's teammates saying, I think we need one more guard. It's always the debate in this situation is, when do you make your move? When is one guard too many? Tough shot here for Tara because you know you have to keep the separation between the guards. That means you're thinking just over hog line, which you don't do very often in a game. And this one we can see sliding a good 3 feet across the hog, but decent separation. Slightly off angle, so a little bit higher chance now for Stephanie Berset to maybe clear 2. Janet Schwaller now joining the party behind the glass. Suddenly things are very Swiss here in Swift Current. Single clear. So the center guard survives for Team Peterson. Now they said one more guard, so that one guard was thrown. Now where does the play go for Corey Teesey? Corey's had such a strong game. Thinking if we get to pin now, create a little bit of a pocket, risk of jams. So the debate is going to be, do you want to tap shot rock right now? Do you want to move it? Or do you just want to freeze against it? I think either thought is good. I wouldn't want to move it too far if I move it at all. Still lots of rocks to come. We're down to third rocks now. Beck and Tara saying 5-6. That's front button, front 4 kind of weight. Great looking line. Does move that stone off the pin. Changes the angles a little bit. Might be a chance for Michele to squeeze it between the yellows if she chose to. You know she's gonna hit something. Yellow still lying 1, but that 1 is now in all kinds of danger. Just a little extra bounce and bump, creating a little bit of a gap here for Team Jaeggi. They can hit the red and it'll pinball the yellows, but not too much risk anymore of the red jamming on the yellows and getting stuffed. They do make a play on the redstone in the button. I think Michele will be hoping that she gets a little inside action and maybe pushes that red counter off the front of the button in the process. Ashley Howard giving it a go. Plenty of weight. It's going to wind up ripping the center guard. So now the game of cat and mouse continues. Do you replace that guard? Or do you make some kind of a play just jiggling the stones in the rings? For me, the situation says you replace the guard. But what you do is you try to get the guard in a place where the angles that you create around it are as bad as possible for your opponent. Redstone on the right-hand side. Tab can afford to show almost all of it to Michele because that is going to set up the jam all day long on the shot rock. Michele will be very reluctant to play that. She'll be looking to cover more of the other side of the center line, I think. Becca Hamilton, Tara Peterson trying to drag this as far as they possibly can. Tara now sweeping for finish. And they are indeed covering the left hand of the Red Rocks. Saying to Michele, go ahead and try and make a play on our top stone, but do it at your peril. If you're a little bit wide, you're going to lose the shot rock. Incredibly entertaining finish to this game. Use this opportunity to kind of recap how we got here. Team Jaeggi scored a 3 in the first end. They were off to the races. Then Tab Peterson came right back with a 2 in the second. Third end was blanked. Michele made an incredible draw to the button in the forefoot, or in the fourth end rather, around a pile to save the end and give her a 2-point lead. After a missed guard in the fifth end, Tab made a shot for 2 to tie it up. In the sixth end, Michele had a very high degree of difficulty attempt at a 2, but elected to play a safer shot for a 1, made a little tap. 2 misses from Tab Peterson in the seventh. And a 1-point steal. And then that incredible eighth end with a million rocks in play. Tab Peterson made the shot for 2 after the measure. And that sends us right here, right now, to the extra end. Regardless of the outcome of this shot, that guard stone's going to remain. No matter where the rocks in the button area are after the smoke clears, Tab Peterson will still have something to work with. Ashley Howard following it down. Rocks are in motion, pushing that red stone out of the rings. That was the crucial one for me, getting that sideways action on the stone that was front button. Now pushing it off the front button and improving the situation a lot for Team Jaeggi. Nice shot. Two stones to come to Team Peterson. You're going to have to reposition these yellow stones around the button if you're going to steal, which you have to do to win the game. So stones are going to move on this shot. Just where do you want to move them to? Can't really wedge one in there to the pin on the outturn side. Not enough to get cover because Michele would just blast the top of the two yellow stones and pop it out. So maybe you just push the front yellow quarter of a rock and leave your own rock sitting there. There's a bit of a setup shot. That's one option. Hit the front stone a little bit harder. Push it away and create some kind of a pocket in the back of the button. That's another option. Regardless of what they actually wind up choosing to do, this is very much a setup shot. This is all about what you're going to try to create for your final stone. Back 8 out of hand, but also a bit of a narrow line. Line is everything here for creating the angles that they want. And this is more like T-line than back 8. Pushes that stone forward. Michele Jaeggi taking a look Making sure who's shot here. From the overhead, looks to me like the Yellowstone is shot right now. Of course, belongs to her. You wouldn't feel comfortable saying, oh, well, that's good enough. Because if Tab ever gets around and chips that, she's not shot rock anymore. Could simply guard. Leave Tab to run in on the long red guard, knowing that the angles are not in her favor. You have to say that's likely what I would favor. That's on the assumption that the yellow is shot right now, which I'm almost certain that it is. I'm going to take a closer look at it, lean in a bit, and yeah, I'm quite convinced that the Yellowstone is shot rock right now. See Stephanie Bursett saying, yeah, why not just guard it? For me, I'm wondering, you know, if you're thinking guard, why are you even worrying about putting it in the rings? I'm not sure what they're trying to protect against coming into the rings versus just leaving it a couple feet short of the rings. They are worried a little bit about that potential run-in, but as I look at the angles here, the long red run-in onto the red rock, I think all that does is bang red onto yellow onto red, which is only going to help Team Jaeggi. Can't see any possibility how it could angle otherwise. No real jump shot off of that stone beside the brush to come sideways, so that's not really a risk. So it will be a shot to protect the shot rock. And we're talking about positioning it in the 12-foot circle. For me, all that does is create a chance for Tab to double it straight back and pick off the yellow. Not sure I'd be bringing it into the rings, but I am absolutely sure I'd be protecting shot rock. Where will this leave? It will come just short of the rings. I think that's a very good spot. Excellent shot, Michele Jaeggi. What has Tab Peterson got? Honestly, I think really all that Tab's got is to think about drawing for the pin, go around the high side of that guard that Michele just threw, and try to push that Yellowstone back an inch. That's all you need to do. See Corey saying, yeah, move that yellow. I don't think you get anything coming the intern side. Come intern side, chip red's going sideways, doesn't help you. Chip yellow, you're helping your opponent. Chip back red, it's too deep. I think the play has to be on the outturn side. You could, very, very risky, nose the guard Michele just delivered, straight back and try to pick the yellow. That's another shot, but for me, you run the risk of careening off your red and losing the red in the process. It's about a 5% shot. I wouldn't try that. You can see Tara saying, just go around the pile. Really hard to mentally picture sometimes that the stone will actually curl enough to make that shot. But if you think about the draw trajectory, how much the rocks finish, it's entirely feasible. Tough, but feasible to just play a draw around the stone just delivered by Michele and still get to the yellow enough to move it an inch. which is all you need to do. But looking at the brush position, it looks like they have elected to play the nose on the guard straight back to try and pick off the yellow on the back of the button. Here we go. Has to hit it squarely on the nose to make. And she is not going to do it. So we'll just confirm that yes, indeed, single point for the yellow team. Michele Jaeggi in an extra end, a nail biter, in a thoroughly entertaining game, claim their first win of the tournament here in Swift Current. Our final score in an extra end: Michele Jaeggi 7, Tab Peterson 6. Join us again later today for more great curling from Swift Current, but for now, that will wrap it up. We'll see you again later on at the Nutrien Ag Solutions Western Showdown from Swift Current. Thanks for joining us.
We feed the world with Nutrien, and a large portion of what our job is to get fertilizer out with the carriers so they can get directed to the farms or to the different retail locations. We know that if we don't have the answer to something, we're not afraid to reach out because we have support from everyone. We've got a really good team behind us.
SaskTel Be Kind Online wants to stop cyberbullying. Want in on the action? We award up to $1,000 for youth initiatives that help spread kindness and prevent bullying. What great idea do you have to help stop bullying? SaskTel can help. Go to BeKindOnline.com and apply for a grant today. Together, we can make a difference.
Imagine being able to stream every curling game from every sheet from any event, be it your Wednesday league game, bonspiel, or corporate event. Curling Stadium offers an all-inclusive streaming solution featuring high-quality cameras, ease of use, great reliability, and minimal installation. Offering your sponsors customizable ad space on your streamed curling games and being able to sell video packages to your corporate events for increased revenue. With Curling Stadium, you can stream to any device, be it your mobile phone, tablet, or computer. Push the feed to your desired platform, be it Facebook, YouTube, or any other social media. Curling Stadium is simply the way forward. Where it's commonplace in other sports to televise every game, we want to do the same. Curling is a global sport, and it's time it gets the coverage it needs. Make your curling club the next Curling Stadium.